Okay, we'll get one echo. All right, how are we doing now? Better? Okay. I will call today's meeting to order. Jen, will you do roll call, please?
Tom McDonald,
Here?
Len Kitty, Jennifer Finley,
Here.
Jim Molitor,
Here.
Carol Langford,
Here.
Harry Pitts, Bing Mack, Ellie Bundy, Martin Charlo,
Present.
Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
James Steele Senior.
That's Jen. Rick will start us out with a prayer this morning. Jimmy, do you mind leading us in a prayer?
Good morning, mic check.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellie.
Grandfather, Grandfather, we call on you today to join us as we do our work for our people. Ask you to look down upon all of our membership, people that are hurting, people in the hospitals, people that are out in the cold. We just ask you to look down on them, guide them, and guide us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I'm up, Jimmy. Okay, we have minutes from December 13th for council review and approval. If you guys want to take a look at that.
Motion to approve the December 13 minutes with additions.
Motion by Mike to approve the December 13th council minutes with additions. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands.
Mr. Chair, I'll abstain, please.
Abstaining? Ellie? Okay. So we have six, 4, 2 abstaining. All right, we have today's agenda. Any additions, changes to the agenda? We have one walk-in.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she's gonna Zoom.
Zoom, okay, that'll be good. One Zoom, any other items, updates? Council would like? Okay, I'll bring that up. We have a board vacancies we need to discuss.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
me and Jennifer may want to give an update on the elders, Kootenai elders yesterday.
Okay. Sure, from the Kootenai Elder meeting, okay? That'd be great. Okay, any other changes, additions? Motion by Mike to approve today's agenda with additions.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Ellie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All right, looks like it's unanimous. Okay. All right, let's do our internal updates first. We could go on exec for that. Probably a good idea. Mary, are you there? Oh, connecting, okay. Mary, go ahead.
Okay, what I wanted to talk about was issues that were brought to me regarding the treaty, but they never got their information to me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we do. We hear you.
Oh, okay. So then I'm just gonna bring up other issues that I have and ask you guys, why you guys are on council and why are you guys giving up all your authority to the executive board? And was being elected your only reason for running, was just to be there and not actually do your job as a council rep? Because it seems like everybody is just being on boards, getting sent to different places, having a title, being paid to just do everything but care about what's going on with the tribe. Because being on council, you should know all the programs, you should know where the personnel problems are. There's money problems, morale problems. You guys should be in the know of all that and be caring about what's going on with all these employees and all these programs, all these things that aren't working. There's too many yuppies that are working there and telling you guys what to do instead of the other way around. You guys are just taking their word for like it's right, and it's not. They're not always right. They're not always doing the right thing. And I don't know why you guys can't see that. You guys are more acting like puppets than being council representatives for our tribe. You know, the executive board is supposed to be, shouldn't even be there. You guys are our executive board, not them. And if all you guys care about is sitting up there and being there when you're supposed to be there and nothing else, then what I'm gonna do is make it my personal goal to get everybody reelected, have new council people that care about our tribe, that want to be there, that want to know every program, every position, and do their job and take care of us. To care about the tribe, to care about our culture. That's what we elected you guys for. Not just to go to Washington, DC, not to go wherever you guys are going. That means nothing to us when there's people suffering, when there's tribal members without houses because they were kicked out because a family member did something. That family member should be the one penalized, not the family. You know how our families are when somebody's in trouble. They don't kick them out. They don't send them away. They try to help their people when they're on drugs or whatever. And then they get kicked out and they're homeless. That's not right. And we have elders that don't have heat, don't have food, don't have whatever it is. But do you guys even know that? Are you guys even, I asked you guys to go and talk to your elders. And I suppose none of you did. You know, it's just one thing after another that I bring up to you guys and you guys don't even care. But I'm gonna keep saying all this over and over and over till somebody starts to listen. We do not need that executive board. We do not need those yuppies telling you guys what to do. That's not right. That's not how council should be. If you guys are breaking the treaty, then that's on you guys for not caring. That's all I want to say because I'm just going to keep doing this every week. And just because you guys don't have an agenda posted and sent out to everybody, I'm going to still point that out that you guys are trying to hide now. You guys aren't going to post your agenda. Who's supposed to be meeting with you guys? It's the secret now. You know, you guys are making it very difficult for us tribal members to talk to you guys, to bring our issues to you. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You guys are supposed to be our voice. What happened to that? All you guys say is, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, yeah, this is going on and we're doing this. It's like, but you're not doing anything for our tribal members. That's all I want to say.
Okay, Mary, thank you for your input. Certainly take your comments very seriously, and we all achieve and try to work towards everything you basically said. So it's a good reminder. So thank you for your input this morning. And unless there's any other council comment, I will move on to the next agenda item. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, just like that, dismissed. Thanks anyway. Fucking asshole.
All right. on up.
How do I get out of it?
Thank you.
Esquire.
Esquex. I'm here for the annual regulation updates, to put forth for public comment, and then we will bring it back again, for final approval. And I did want to mention, I forgot to include the members, so I will send that to Jen when I get back to the office to request another time. I apologize.
So I see you're doing some housekeeping, adding some of the posted regulations on a site like Blue Bay into the annual regulation pamphlet.
Yeah, added that whole Blue Bay section.
And those are items that have already been approved by council in the past. So your request is for the non-members is to seek permission to advertise these annual regulations. All the regulations have to be approved by the council each year.
Yep, most of them were edits and clarifications, like the restricted areas. Just reiterating, no berry and mushroom picking. There was the addition of the electric bicycles to the motorized section there. Using fire range, so,
What you guys been watching Carol and I on our electric bikes or what? I don't know.
yeah, not in the wilderness no more.
I got those big, look at those big white tires too, just for that. Any questions for Amanda? Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Amanda, on the section 2 restricted areas, the D, Prairie Basin Wildlife, the very last sentence, private landowners within the unit may allow elk hunting on their property. I'd like to see that edited to say private landowners within the unit may allow tribal member elk hunting on their property.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Good catch, Mike.
Yep.
Any other comments, questions for Amanda?
And to be clear, Carol, that was for the wilderness area, the designated wilderness area, so. There's other wilderness areas, but not the Mission Mountain.
I know, thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome.
I'm a little slow.
Martin?
I would make a motion to approve with the edits that were suggested.
Motion by Martin to approve the request to seek public comment on the 23-24 platted Indian Reservation fishing, bird hunting, recreation regulations for non-members with edits. Approved, second by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, I think. Jennifer, did you vote?
Yes, aye, yes.
Okay. For the tribal member regs, Carrie and Amanda, we were thinking that it might be a good idea to put in a section just for prairie basin depredation that we might allow for a administrative female taking during the off season, like say for August or something as another tool. Just have a general line like that, which then would allow further definition as we get closer to the summer. If you could maybe put something like that, would that hit it there, Mike and Terry? Yeah, just, so then it would be in the public comment. And it would be an administrative hunt. It wouldn't be just a general thing. It would be that way you could customize it for a particular landowner. You know, maybe be led by staff or a game warden or something. It could be very controlled in taking, but it would be within that female season closure. Yeah, could be. It would be in the travel member regulation.
Well, that was painless. Thank you, council.
Thank you. Okay, Carrie. I took it easy on Todd there.
Oh, thank you so much. Good morning. Okay, we get organized real quick. Okay. Well, good morning, council. Thank you, tribal chairman, for having me this morning. I did have a few agenda items today. The first, and I'll grab this little mouse here. Oh, you're doing the controlling. Cool. So I'll go ahead and move to page 10, I guess 11 of your packets this morning. So my first agenda item is I am submitting a grant to the BIA for threatened and endangered species monitoring and management on the reservation. And this is a grant that we have applied for in the past. Typically, it's a 3-year grant. We get the funds and have about 3 years to expend that. And so this is kind of this next, we just completed the funds for this in 2022. And so we're reapplying for a continuation of those funds. And the only thing, so in the past, this has been for grizzly bears, wolverine, lynx, and fisher. Fisher have been removed from the proposed species or threatened list, but so the only thing that's different in this year's proposal is that we're still proposing to monitor and get some collars out for grizzly bear to monitor movement, activity, and habitat use. We're also going to continue our and expand upon our wolverine and lynx DNA and genetic sampling surveys throughout the reservation. And then the fourth objective that we have, so yellow-billed cuckoo is a species that was listed recently on the threatened and endangered ESA list. And so we want to do some sort of baseline monitoring to get sort of presence absence data, because we don't have a good, we don't have many, I think maybe just one yellow-billed cuckoo observation on the reservation from quite a few years ago. And so we wanted to just do a baseline assessment, especially in some upcoming areas where we know we're going to have some projects coming up, construction projects. So we wanted to make sure that we could give a good environmental assessment and analysis on that. And so we're hoping that this grant would help us collect and analyze some of that data. And then with this application, we do have letters of support from some agencies that we cooperate with. And then I'm also requesting a signature for a letter to submit with the application. That was on, a copy of that was provided on page 9. And then on page 10 is a proposed ordinance to send with the application as well.
Any questions for Carrie?
So do you need a motion to approve this resolution?
We would, yes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the resolution funding the U.S. Bureau or whatever, submission of an application, I'm sorry.
Motion by Carol to submit the motion to approve the BIA grant proposal for teenage species resolution. Second by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And then I'll bring this letter over for signature in a moment.
Carrie, can you send that resolution in Word format to Abby?
Yeah, I did
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay, thanks.
And then one of my biologists, Kaylee Durgalow, I believe is going to be, okay, perfect, joining us for this next bit. And then I do have some additional handouts that I put together for council to kind of help with the next couple of sections. And so if we've got, I'll keep one for reference. And then, yeah, if you wouldn't mind passing those out. Thank you. Good, it's good to see you. So this is just a survey report for big game on the reservation that to kind of show some results from our overall big game efforts and surveying for 2022. This report's mainly just for your information. I just wanted to make sure that I'm checking in and letting you know what data we're collecting and how we're utilizing that. But hopefully it'll help kind of set the stage for some of the discussions next. So our next agenda item, we are proposing a urban deer removal program for the city of Polson. And we have this year, no. Oh, thank you. And so kind of this report here just has some kind of background information, some potential future big game needs that we might have. And then really I want to start on that third page there with the human and big game conflicts. So I did keep track of just the conflict types and numbers of conflicts that I got calls about, and responded to landowners with. And then I didn't get a chance to corroborate with everybody this week to see, to get a full complete number, but those are just some of the types of conflicts that we've had with big game. Within Polson specifically, and then Kaylee's report on page 17 in the deer proposal as well covers, we have been getting quite a few reports of deer within city limits becoming aggressive, chasing dogs, children within their yard, and causing some depredation damage there as well. And so I wanted to also just give, on that page 3, you can see the total survey totals for, different deer in the Mission Valley. And that's just, that doesn't include east of Highway 93 based on how our wildlife management units are broken out. And I tried to provide a picture of that in the second page, but for some reason it didn't print. But, we do have high densities of deer in these kind of urban areas, within towns. And so one thing that we're proposing, and, we've been reached out on about a lot from the Polson community, is to continue with a deer removal program within city limits. And this is something that we have initiated in the past, and we've taken a couple dozen deer out of city limits. And then this proposal just goes over the procedure, the operations of what that would look like, what some of our goals are for that program. And, Kaylee, if you want to add a bit more on the specifics of what that would look like.
Yeah. So basically the project, there's challenges to managing deer within city limits. There's firearms ordinances. There's issues if we have bow hunters go in, if the deer goes onto someone's property who's, not supportive of managing those city deers, you can have some issues. So one effective method is to use a trap called a clover trap. It's a metal frame with mesh sides, and what happens is you put bait in the back and there's a trigger system, so it's a single catch mechanism, and once the deer goes in and triggers the tripwire, the door falls behind them. And there have been cameras set on these traps. Typically when a deer goes into the trap and gets stuck, they are relatively calm. Usually they just continue to feed, or they'll bed down. And so our goal would be to set multiple traps in these urban areas and then euthanize the deer with a bolt gun, and then donate the carcasses, the healthy carcasses that we get out of this, to resources that we have on hand right now. So like food sovereignty program, elders program, Sylvia's store, or directly to tribal members in need. So we are hoping to begin around January of next year, 2023, and continue until hunting season opens back up, and have this available as a tool for wildlife management, throughout the year when it's needed.
And so this would be one of, like Kaylee said, our tools for some of those administrative removals as well, when we get some of our clover traps fixed or modified to be able to be collapsible. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, look on page 4, 2017. Mule deer, whitetail, then you go down to the elk and there's 1,327. Did we have a depredation hunt to take it back down to 708?
Yeah, as to why those are, no, so a lot of, and I kind of prefaced it a little bit in the overview.
Oh, I'm
But-
sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally good, because I didn't go over that. But so I've taken a look at our historic big game count data, and there wasn't a lot of standardization across the years. And so with our ferry basin population especially, we have a resident population, which is about that, 400 to 700 kind of range. But then in the winter, we do have migration from herds off the reservation that also come and reside there throughout the winter for that wintering ground as well. So the numbers fluctuate, and they do really grow and swell during those overwintering months. And so that 2017, I believe, was a year where we just did the counts a little bit later, where we were getting kind of the overall winter counts and not just our resident count.
Okay, I guess the question I have then is, should there even be a range unit in that area if there's that many elk, and can the land handle that?
Yeah, and so the ferry basin stuff is I put in here to kind of help with our next agenda item. But yeah, I mean, that is definitely, we don't have an established biological carrying capacity for ferry basin yet, but in the box with the text, next to those survey results, I do start to kind of get at what some of our bull to cow ratios look like in that herd. Also some of the social tolerances and property damage, reports from those areas around there, and that we are really assessing that and looking at whether we should switch our management in that ferry basin wildlife management unit from bull hunting, but really starting to look at encouraging some cow removal from that population to help reduce some of those overall numbers, to help get us to kind of closer, bring the population down to a closer carrying capacity, environmental and social for that
And,
area.
and that could be said the other way around. If you're an operator, you would say, well, you know, this is my range unit and you have all these other animals, which we all know that as tribal members, we support the elk and the, you know, because they were here first, but.
Oh,
along
I
with us.
see.
But, I would say, and I really feel this deeply, I've been thinking a lot about it, and then it came up this morning about the issue of all the depredation that's going on, and I almost feel like we need to open this hunt up. I mean, there is just a lot of animals, because otherwise they're gonna start getting sick. I mean, I have this fear in my head that they're gonna start getting sick, and then we're gonna lose a lot of them, and then we don't know what it's gonna do to the cattle, and
Yeah, and a lot
I
of,
don't wanna be a fear monger, but, you know, I just
no,
had that thought in my head, worried.
absolutely, and that's a concern of ours as well, you know, because we're seeing we do have really dense, big game populations in some areas, and, you know, with chronic wasting disease close, that is a big concern that, you know, if we do, you know, get it on the reservation, that it could spread through the herds faster, just because we are so heavily loaded. And so we have been the last few years really trying to engage with our tribal member hunters to, you know, harvest more does and cows, and not so much the bulls and the bucks. But, you know, we haven't really made headway on that because we're not able to, you know, we can strongly encourage with words, but people don't want to shoot the does, they're not going to. We did have some hunters drop off about 20 heads for chronic wasting disease testing yesterday, but only 4 or 5 of them were does, the rest were all bucks. And so that is a problem. And so that is something we're looking at, you know, going into this year. Are there some, you know, specifically areas where we know that we're really dense with population numbers? Can we, you know, put something in place that, or even, you know, by tribal member hunting hunters, or, you know, from some of our administrative efforts, you know, can we target some, you know, doe and cow removals, or, you know, harvest in those areas to help try to alleviate some of those pressures.
Something else that might help is use this as an educational process for young people, to take them out and show them how to gut and clean a deer and all of that. I mean, I think that would be my biggest issue, is knowing how to do that. I could probably shoot it fairly well, but it's the rest of the story that I need to, and I call them urban Indian deer, not just urban deer. Joke.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and, thank you, Carrie. Are we looking at other places like Ronan, or possibly controlling the population there?
I couldn't tell where it was coming from.
Well, we had masks, so it was even harder. You know, I just know it's a problem kind of everywhere on the reds with urban deer, and
Yeah.
Polson seems like they get a lot of attention because they complain the most.
Yeah, and I'll let Kaylee elaborate a little bit more on that, because yeah, we have this Polson urban deer program like for this winter, but then yeah, she's hoping to, since we'll already have all the traps modified, that this is something that we'd be able to take out administratively as those other conflicts come in, or other conflict areas into other communities.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of our complaints that we get currently are from Polson. So as far as time-wise, you know, we're only going to have about 6 traps ready. So being able to concentrate those kind of in one location at a time is going to help us be more successful, but we'll have the resources available to move those traps to other towns or locations that need it. So yeah, it's definitely something that's available.
And once we have these traps modified for this type of setup, you know, we are also looking at some potential other funding sources that might allow us to get some smaller administrative teams that could maybe take those out and work those in different areas too. So we're hoping to build on it, but this is kind of our pilot program in Polson to, you know, to test this new sort of trapping method and, hopefully, yeah, have it, be able to take it out into other areas.
Pablo's good. We got too many dogs here, so
That helps.
they keeps them out.
And that is also something that could be an issue with pullover traps. We do catch dogs in them sometimes. So if there is a really high stray dog density, we might be less successful at catching deer if the dogs, because they're single catch traps. So if the dogs are tripping those wires more frequently than deer, then it might not be the most useful way to administratively take deer in that area.
Well, it would solve the problem of having urban dogs.
For winter. Yeah. I know the last time we did the urban deer removal in Polson, it was a pretty good program. And the thing that was interesting was the number of tribal members that wanted those carcasses and were willing to provide assistance to pay for the processing. And it was pretty incredible. We didn't have the food sovereignty program back then, and now you do. So that makes it really interesting. One thing I've heard from Council Carey quite a bit is making sure whenever possible, we're testing anything and any animal ungulate for chronic wasting disease. So this gives you that opportunity additionally, but we want to make sure that the road animals that are hit on the highways, that you're getting at some of those because those are key indicators. And I know that Mike has had conversations with the road department over on the west side, and they're willing to keep all the road kills or do whatever if you be the heads so you can test those.
Perfect. And that was Mike. He said, oh, gotcha. Yeah, that would be good. I know that,
Well, a lot of those Mike's hit, so he knows where they're at.
No, thank you for that, because that could be a good avenue. We do work with our game wardens and our biologists try to collect the roadkill as much as possible, but we don't get a lot onto that west side. So if there's a avenue we can work with MDT over there, that'd be great.
So this is one example of us being very, proactive, trying to get ahead of things or react to issues. So I strongly support the urban deer removal program for Polson. And, no council has in the past. So if there's any other questions for Carrie, obviously they can expand it to the other communities as needed. We do. Motion by Mike to approve the Polson urban deer removal proposal. Second by Carrie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous? I think, Jimmy, you okay? Good. Unanimous?
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you, Kaylee, for joining this morning. I know she wasn't feeling well, so I'm glad she was able to hop on. And then our final agenda item this morning. So we are requesting to, so the cow elk harvest season for the Ferry Basin Wildlife Management Unit does end on December 31st. However, outside of that Ferry Basin area, cow elk harvest can continue until January 31st. And so again, just kind of circling back to the numbers you see on that fourth page there, that we're hoping to extend that cow harvest season within Ferry Basin Management Unit to just kind of match that January 31st date as well, to hopefully encourage some more of the cow harvest from that area.
So you need a
Sorry,
motion
on the handout that I gave.
for this winter. You need the motion to extend the season to make it regular cow elk season for Ferry Basin Management Unit.
Correct. Yep. And then when I referenced page 4, it was just the numbers that you saw. The request is on page 8 of the council form.
Once again, this is an example of us being trying to be proactive as a tool in our tool bag to respond to those folks out there that want to open up hunting. We're taking a tool to extend our season this year, given the population dynamics. So it's a good thing. I assume that we would carry this forward. It would be a permanent change in the regulations,
Absolutely,
in
yep.
the proposal. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can do these emergency changes as needed, and so even though it's not in the book, it would be enacted for this season. The proposal could be carried forward for next year and be in the rule book.
Yep. And then I figured, going forward, we'll continue to do those annual Ferry Basin counts. And then, as we start to see some of the demographics shift, the cow and bull ratios, adjust, and we can fluctuate that, maybe pull that date back down. But I think that it'll take us a little bit to get to some of the management needs that we have for that area.
Motion by Martin to extend the cow elk season to the regular season dates for Ferry Basin management area for this hunt season. Second by Carol. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous? So, Carrie, one thing that Terry brought up was, I know the teeny species grant, have you identified any funding that might be out there that would help some of the ag operators, like for fencing or haystack protection, that you might be able to offer as a wildlife program?
Yeah, I've been looking into, I've been looking for something of that vein where we could help maybe relieve some of those depredation costs to landowners. I haven't come up with anything yet. I'm assuming, I've been watching APHIS really closely because I feel like that might be, them or Wildlife Services would probably have the best, would align the closest with something like that. But we're on the look, but we haven't identified anything yet.
Does NGOs like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation provide anything like that?
I'm not, sorry, I'm writing down the notes. I don't, not that I know of. Most of their grants are geared towards like research and habitat needs. And so, yeah, it's interesting because with grizzly bears, you have the Livestock Loss Board, the Montana Livestock Loss Board, that reimburses, residents, for depredations there due to carnivores. But, with big game depredation, as far as statewide, there isn't anything of that sort either. So it would be, unique, I think, and maybe a little difficult to allocate funds towards something like that in a grant. But we're hoping to have like an overall depredation grant that will maybe get us some folks, and then help alleviate some of those social needs as well.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
All righty.
All right, well, thank you all very much. Have a great day and a Merry Christmas.
You, Carrie. We'll look forward to the tribe member regs coming back next week for advertising.
Yep, and I'll get those to Amanda this afternoon, so she's got them for the female administrative harvest.
Yeah,
Correct.
that works on the other end of the season, so perfect. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. Let's take a quick break because we'll have Heather on at 10:30. So 5-minute break. That was our last action items. So the rest of the day or morning is informational. Oh, she's here? Okay, cool. She's in person. Quick break. Okay, I think we're here. We have quite a few out, Heather, sorry. But we're done with our break. So we have my good friend Heather has a new job, I guess pretty new. So Heather and I worked together as she was a city official for Polson and longtime Polson resident. Are you born and raised in Polson, aren't you? Yes. So Heather was the mayor for a while, and wonderful to work with Heather. She's been just fantastic. So I look forward to you in a new position. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead, Heather. You have to push the button on there's a.
Is that better? There we go. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you making time for me today too. I know everyone has a very busy schedule, but I just wanted to have an opportunity to come in and introduce myself. I am familiar with some of you, but I certainly have not met or been able to cross paths with others. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to introduce myself as the new Executive Director of Mission West Community Development Partners, and just kind of share with you a little information about our organization. So you guys have some information as you do your work, and if you ever find opportunities for alignment or opportunities where we might be able to help support, just wanted to at least lay that groundwork so that you know who we are and what we're all about over there. So as Chairman McDonald was saying, my name is Heather Knutson Walter, and I was born and raised in Polson. I went to school through the Polson school system, graduated from Polson High School as a proud pirate. From there, I went on to college at Montana State University in Bozeman. So enjoyed our university system here, and of course, I am very excited about this weekend's game. After graduating, I went on to Billings and I worked in an advertising agency there where I did tourism work. I worked with the Billings Chamber of Commerce. I worked with Southeast Montana Tourism Region and various other entities, local retail business, and then moved back to Polson. I was missing this community. In fact, I remember the moment that I was flying over. We were riding on Big Sky Air on the way over. I'm not sure if you guys remember flying on that. Big scare areas, and was flying over, and it was a June meeting in Whitefish, and landed in Kalispell there, and I just remember, oh my goodness, I need to get back. Like, it was coming over the missions and seeing our area. It hit me that I missed it very much. So at that point, made a plan to move back here, and came back for a little bit, and ended up coaching some in Polson for some volleyball and basketball. And then ended up working for my parents' business, which is Country Pasta. So worked with Country Pasta, which then became Simply 406 for several years. And in that time, I had an opportunity to serve our community as the mayor of Polson, a position that I really enjoyed very much. A lot of it, the parts that I really enjoyed was working with community members. We have such a incredibly energetic group, many groups of individuals that work hard for our community to make it a better place. And that was one of the things that I was missing greatly, and why I think the work at Mission West was so appealing to me, was because it was integrating back into the community and being able to work with community groups to focus on our region. So at Mission West, we serve not only Lake County, but we also serve Sanders County and Mineral County and the entire Flathead Reservation. So we work with some partners in the other counties to help pursue our mission. And the things that we focus on at Mission West are really, they're fourfold. One is community-focused economic development, business-focused economic development. We have a cooperative development program, and then we have a very strong food and agriculture development program, which also includes the Mission Mountain Food Enterprise Center. So in our community-focused economic development area, that pillar, we focus on many different things within the community. We recently finished a study on an innovation center in Polson and the feasibility of that type of establishment in a rural community. We're currently working on several locations that are potential brownfields projects. We're working with the city of Ronan and Ronan Revitalization on becoming a Main Street Montana program. We also help various community projects. The Ronan Fire Department is one that we're currently working with. Ronan Fairgrounds, Polson Fairgrounds, the library. We've kind of been involved. Mission Valley Aquatics, also any of these local organizations that are providing these necessary services to our community, we're always keeping an eye open as well for funding opportunities for them or ways that we can help support them. So any types of community projects, we try to offer our assistance where we can. We also coordinate the Big Sky Trust Fund opportunities. So for job creation grants and planning, economic development planning grants, we work on those types of things. And one of the big things that we do is we complete every 5 years, we complete a new CEDS or comprehensive economic development strategy. We just finished doing the major review of that. So the current one that we have goes from 2022 to 2027. It is available on our website. If you go to missionwestcdp.org and then click on the news section, you'll find the CEDS report there. Just a couple of updates on that. It's quite a lengthy report, but when you get down to it, some of the things that we like to look at are the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. So the strengths that we had that were identified through this process, which I should back up just a step or two. The process of doing the CEDS report really involves a lot of community involvement. It has a steering committee, and then through that, they also hosted local meetings across the region in all 3 counties. So from that work, then it is all culminated together, and we come up with what the different areas of focus might be. So the strengths that were identified that came out on top were outdoor recreation, key industries such as healthcare, hospitality and tourism, construction, education, and community support organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club, and rural lifestyle. So those were recognized as what the strengths of this region are. Some weaknesses included lack of housing, inconsistent cell service and gaps in broadband, child care options, and lack of employees to fill positions. So I'm sure those are probably not really surprising to any of you to be hearing those. Some opportunities that were identified are affordable housing, increased cell and broadband infrastructure, which I think is something that you all have an opportunity to impact as well with recent innovations on that. And developing vocational technology classes in our high schools, helping towns develop infrastructure and further development of downtown areas. So those were some opportunities that came out through those community-wide discussions. So that's essentially our community-focused economic development. That's one area. We also have our business development and loan services. Through the business development department, we do technical assistance for individuals that want to start businesses. We do it for businesses that are already established and want to grow. So we can do one-on-one technical assistance for those. We use both our resources as well as what we call our expert network, which includes community members from the area that can help participate in that as well. And then we also have workshops throughout the year that we offer. That program, obviously, through COVID had kind of decreased, and we're looking to ramp back up again in the coming year. And then we have loan program opportunities that we work with as well. We have quite a sufficient amount of loan funding that we have available to our community to be used for the purposes of economic development and growing the businesses and services in our area. This is one thing that I think is really an impactful way that we do help our community, and some things that we want to focus on and share some success stories with our community in the coming year. There are a lot of businesses there that have either started as part of Mission West or have come to Mission West for technical assistance, and really are providing these really excellent services in our community. So I'll be sure to share those stories when they come out with you, because I think it's really helpful for you to hear and see the actual, those are what I really view as our actual impact here. And then the loan program, we also recently, the new program that we have started this past year is working with the State of Montana Department of Commerce with the new SSBCI program. I believe you have a program that you're working on as well. Is that correct? The SSBCI program? No, okay. This is a loan program opportunity to lend, and it's essentially what it does is we partner with local banks, and they come in with 50% of the funding. We come in with the other 50% of the funding, and we can offer a lower interest rate where they offer what their interest rate is. And what it does for the borrower is gives them a nice blended interest rate. So it brings that down a little bit from what current market rates are. It's a really great program that has recently become available to us.
I think the other day, that was mentioned at our lending, we met with, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll probably discuss that more in the future. And if you have any questions on that at all, certainly from our perspective, don't hesitate to reach out. We are working on that right now. One of the benefits to that particular loan program is that any of the funding that comes on behalf of the Department of Commerce / Mission West, when that loan is fully revolved, when it's paid back, 50% of our portion will remain in our community to be able to be relent again. So that is such a nice element of this, because it not only is going to be beneficial to current borrowers right now, but it also means that future finances are going to be available to future borrowers as well. So it's a really neat program, in my opinion, that is a sustainable, a longer term program. It's going to have an immediate impact, but it's also going to down the road also be available to us. The Cooperative Development Department is another area that we focus on. We work with a lot of cooperatives, not only in our smaller region here, but across the state. And then we are currently working on a program right now, a regional program that essentially connects multiple food hubs from our area here all the way to Seattle. So we have several, I think 3 or 4 food hubs that are involved in this. And the goal of this program really is to move Montana agriculture products out to institutional business. So to universities, hospitals, those types of opportunities that are available. And it's a really great partnership program. It's a new program that we've gotten involved in through a grant that we received last year. So we're just about ready to finish up our first year of the grant, of a 3-year grant. And really what it is doing is building that ecosystem to be able to navigate transitioning the food products and how people can tap into that product from a commerce perspective. And then, you know, working with other cooperatives, we do technical assistance on the cooperative side. We also help with board management, board functioning, those types of things. One interesting thing that's come up on the cooperative development side, in my opinion, is some new, it's not a new concept, but as we talk about the housing market and potentially looking at a cooperative model for housing, whether that's larger organizations that would, say, the hospital, the schools, purchase and build and provide housing for their staff, or some other format of it where it would be your more typical housing cooperative where the owners would be the people who live there. But at any rate, that's one thing that kind of continues to percolate in conversations, as well as how that might be a part of that puzzle. And then finally, the other department that we have is the Food and Agriculture Development Center, which also includes the Mission Mountain Food Enterprise Center. That area also provides technical assistance, workshops, training on food safety, how to help these individuals who want to start value-added agriculture products. So to get your agriculture turned into a product and then sold to the market. So we're working on those types of things and helping to support that system as well. And then also looking at how to, you know, train people to utilize our facility. So we have that Food Enterprise Center, which is, I believe it is the largest in our region, in the Northwest area here, that is a shared kitchen access site. And yeah, I was just talking to Commissioner Dolson over here, and we talked about, you know, maybe having a tour sometime of our facility if you haven't been there in a while. There's a lot of great things going on in that area. Right now, we actually are working on, thank you. Right now, we're working on, we have this project called the Montana Marinara Project, and we are making marinara sauce that is going to be sold in schools across the state of Montana. And it's an excellent program in partnership with the Office of Public Instruction. And so we're very excited. We are just getting that product produced right now. In fact, they were working on it this morning when I left. And so it's really exciting. I think that's an excellent success story example of a farm to school. I mean, it truly is the example of what we're talking about with local Montana agriculture. We've got local carrots and local garlic and local onions, local items being used in our product, and then we make it up and we sell it to schools across the state of Montana. So really excellent opportunity there. I think there's also opportunity for growth on that product as well, outside of the education system. We also recently, one thing that also relates to our partnership with you is we recently applied for the Local Food Procurement Assistance Program. And what this will do, we work on a food box program together with you, and this will help us to procure items for that food box program. So help to keep sustaining that on an ongoing basis. We do not know yet if we've received that grant, but we'll keep you posted on that as well. And then with the, I'm sure many of you know Jan Tusick, who's really been a pillar in the food and ag economy of Montana. She is such an asset to our organization and to our region, and she has been working with many partners over the years and is working currently with food sovereignty efforts with several partners from our region and across the state. And so those are things that definitely have direct impact to our community here. So those are the 4 areas that we focus on. I have to say we really appreciate your involvement in our organization. Councilman Adolson is on our board right now, and we definitely are appreciative that you see a value in having that connectivity and having that partnership together and providing us with guidance. We definitely recognize the tribe's impact on our economic development here in this area, certainly with all of the different businesses and organizations that you manage, it has a huge impact, and I'm sure there's a number there that it is. I don't come with it, I'm sure you have it, but definitely I think that you make a huge impact on our area and on the services and on the quality of life here in the Mission Valley. So it's definitely appreciated what you do. And one thing that is really important to me is that we maintain an alignment with your direction on that. And so anytime you see what we're doing out there and want to help guide us in that area or in another area, we welcome your feedback and we welcome any types of suggestions and participation that you have for us.
Thank you, Heather. Wow. You guys are covering a lot of ground, and it's great. I was particularly interested in the housing topic, and when you brought up the potential or working with businesses or organizations to develop housing for their employees, and when I think about housing today for our folks here, our young people, it's really hard for me to imagine anybody that's young being able to afford to buy a house anymore. It's just a tragedy. It's really so far out there for them, and how we can alleviate that or bring that closer together is a worthy task. We talked about your training, the training opportunities that are there. We had a discussion the other day about financial literacy and starting that at a young age, especially in the school system, the public school systems, and how we really, it emphasized that because it's even more critical. If you really, look at the future and you want to buy a house, you need to start saving money probably when you're 6 years old,
right,
to think about that.
Yep.
But how can your organization help with that in this system? So I think hitting that in many directions, we're certainly going to do that. But any help with that and getting that information out, how critical it is to start planning and using your money, how you build wealth, how you build bankability, how you do all that, because that all goes into business development.
Mhm.
So certainly we're interested in all that too, Heather. Yeah.
That's great.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Carol.
I love the noodles.
Thank you.
I see them in Costco and I go, they're made from in Polson. So,
Yes.
Yeah, but
Thank
no, I
you.
have an annual report here and I think it's okay to give that out.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I will present
I'll
it
grab
to you
that.
so you have some information about the tribal government anyway.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Appreciate all the wonderful programs that you're doing and the collaboration with the tribes and just hope we continue and, yeah, we'll have success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're in good hands with you.
All
I mean,
right.
I can't, just really happy to see you there.
Thank you very much. And like I said, I welcome thoughts, perspectives, collaboration. I look forward to working with everyone. I know there's going to be some challenges with it, but we have a great community here. We have a great area we call home, and I look forward to working with you guys. So thank you. I do have some information. Do you mind if I hand
Oh,
out to
please
everyone?
do, Heather.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Don't let Councilman Dolson hold you back. So, you too. See you, Heather. Okay. Patty, et al. Heather? I remember her in sports, in Polson. And I don't remember her coaching though. Maybe Joe does, but I don't remember her coaching, but I don't know if she did or not. She might have. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Patty.
Good morning, Chairman and Council. As you know, the warming center has been up and running. We thought it was time that we came in and kind of give you a high-level overview of how things are going at the center, what are some of our struggles, and what are our next plans. When the center first started out, it started out at Quicksilver, allowing people to spend the evenings in the laundry there. Just because we wanted to really start that weekend of Thanksgiving, knowing that the weather was getting bad. And within 2 days, it moved to the senior center and they've got full services running almost 24/7. We close a few hours during the day for really deep cleaning on days where the weather permits for that. But we just wanted to give you an update and give you the opportunity to thank the individuals that are really making it run and have the mindset in this is going to work for CSKT. So I'm going to turn it over to Leroy and Tracy.
All right. Great people to do this, I tell you. I'm thanking you already. Leroy.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. What are we going through? That one or this one? Hmm? So we started doing the warming center and it has some challenges to it, but we're working through them as they go. We've been explaining to our staff and what I call them is our guests, people that are coming there, that it's a learning, it's a pilot program, it's a process that we're learning. Nobody's done it before, so we will have some hiccups and some changes that we're going through.
So the first page that we just have basically the warming center, the purposes. This is one that we started a few years ago with the homelessness task force. We eliminated some of the things that didn't really pertain to this. This is what we have out.
So I think the policy and the procedures and the forms you can review, you know, on your own. There is a process that they go through when they come in and they register. Leroy's overseeing the staff and security. His attempt is to have 2 individuals there at all times, preferably a male and a female. Leroy, might be good to talk about the training that you're bringing in for all the staff.
So the training that we've had so far, I had the staff do de-escalation training. And then we did recently do the food handling. So they can handle the food, prepare it, cook it if they have to. We did reach out to Maxine. She was the senior cook for the meals there in Ronan on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which since we kind of took over the building, she's down in Mission. I'm gonna not answer if she did say yes or no to that, but just in case she did not know, at least my guys will be able to prepare food. We did get food donated. Some of it was already pre-cooked, so they've been doing that. We was also got the 4 refrigerators that she did have there, refrigerators and freezers. She had them padlocked and she took the stuff that she needed down to Mission. So now we're waiting for the account number and stuff like that so we can go shopping and fill those to keep it there. And the upcoming classes for my staff would be CPR, first aid, and I'm waiting for the response for Narcan. So those are the trainings that we have right now for them. In April or in August, we do the security training that I put on, or DHRD puts on, that I oversee. That's a 2-day course that I kind of encouraging the people that are on staff now, if they haven't attended it. You know, if we have this again next year, we kind of, one of the requirements that they go through this class, kind of give them basic skills of report writing, things to watch over and stuff like that. So at least there'd be a foundation and ground start of upcoming stuff for them in the future.
Thank you, Leroy. This is a topic that remains on our Homelessness Coalition task force every week. We're always talking about the warming center and talking about the needs for the warming center. Both Leroy and Tracy have been really good bringing in other departments to really support those needs. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit, Tracy, and what the other departments are providing. And the
Tribal
case
Health has
management.
been a tremendous help with everything. They have supplied us with comfort bags, which consists of a sleeping mat, sleeping bag, hat, gloves, socks, some hygiene products in there, a towel,
Protective vest.
protective vest, the reflected one.
Yeah.
And then they also have hygiene bags, so if they already have the comfort bags and they come in, they no longer have any of the hygiene products, they can get those hygiene products, you know, every time they come in if they need them. We're limiting the comfort bags to 1 per person, 2 at the very most, because we do not want these guys losing them and having multiple where we could be giving them to more people if we limit them to only 2. The staff down there is a tremendous help, like Leroy said, that it's, you know, hit and miss for learning as we go. They have stepped up. Like he said, there's one individual that has decided, you know, he will cook meals. He went down, purchased products himself to come back and make spaghetti for everybody. He's made turkey noodle soup, different things like that. Tribal Health is also coming down. They have a nursing staff that's coming down every morning, meeting with the guests that are there. If they need to be updated for Tribal Health, they're doing that. If they need to get set up for Medicaid, that's going to be starting either this week or next week. They have, what else are they doing?
Medication.
Oh, you can go just that.
They're also, the nurses are seeing if they needed their medications updated, if they're not updated, scheduling their appointments if they need to be Recently, last week, they kind of been I should say, very helpful. Most of our guests, I should say, last week was, mental. They have a lot of mental problems, and my staff, I advise them not to, try to address or assess it or anything like that. Leave that to the nurses. They're the ones telling us this person needs their mental medication or they have some kind of mental disorder. Keep an eye out on them. So the nurses have been very helpful. So, we're addressing that as it comes. Like I said, that last week we had quite a few of them. We had one individual, a tribal member that they got help for and brought him to some facility. I don't know which facility wherever. And they said he's on his way back pretty soon. So they've been, like I said, Tracy, they've been very helpful.
No, go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, Patricia, this sounds like something that we should also train our staff, in-house staff on, recognizing issues like this because, I could say one program in particular where if they were aware and they had some options, maybe we wouldn't have so many homeless people. I mean, they get to a point where they don't follow the rules anymore, so there's things have to happen. But identifying that there is some underlying other issues going on, we need to try to help the folks rather than make them homeless. And I know they're doing their job. It's just a tough time. With COVID getting over, we're kind of moving on from COVID, but people are really suffering from mental health issues. And so I would hope that we could identify them and then not say, okay, we've identified you, see you later. I think somebody needs to follow that person and make sure they're getting the care that they need. And I'm not saying they are just kicking them out, but I've seen it kind of happen a few times and I don't know what to do with them either. And they're my family, they're my people. I represent them. And I can't just say, here's $20 because something else needs to happen with them. I'll get emotional in there. So
I think that's really a good point. So I think that's one of the things that we're focusing on with the training with staff. But I think that's the other piece that we're focusing on with the partnering with the other departments and really doing that case management for these individuals on site. So it's a learning curve. It's a new process for us because we haven't had a warming center before, but the case management is already beginning. Part of it is getting on people's schedules to get them there when we need them there. But our goal is to really meet that. I love how Leroy calls them guests, to meet that guest where they are, learn about their struggles, and then really figure out how can we help them moving forward. All of the different applications, I truly believe one day we're going to have one application, but all the different applications for all the different programs that can assist our guests are now at the warming center. The staff help them fill them out, get them to where they need to go, explain to them if they have to follow up daily to stay on lists, whatever that looks like. We got a phone put in the center. So for instance, if they apply for TLC, you have to call in every day. They can call in every day directly from there. So we're really putting together the system to support them and help to move them to some level of sustainability in the near future. Those that are really wanting the assistance and be ready to move forward. Leroy also told me a story about an individual who was off his meds. And the tribal health nurse that came down got him back on his meds and, got them prescribed, got them to them. And now he's stabilized again. So some of those things with that partnership between the departments is working very well. Others we're still putting in place. They've also connected very closely with the city of Ronan and the services that they have. And so I think they're doing a really good job really fast and on the fly because this really began, like we said, over Thanksgiving weekend when the weather got bad. There are a few struggles that we have that I think we should talk about. One of them is showers and laundry. So if you're homeless, you don't have a place to shower a lot of time, you don't have a place to do laundry. Those are two of our biggest struggles that we have right now. People were going down to the laundromat over by Harvest Foods at $6 a shower. Most of them don't have $6. And as Tracy informed me the other day, is there's a long wait to get in for the shower. So that's something we're trying to figure out. Where can we, if we can, set up showers for
Have
individuals?
you approached
And laundry.
any of the local churches for that?
That's a great question. I don't think we have we?
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
I asked about Kicking Horse for the gym, if there's any way we could, because Corky said we could either utilize one of his drivers and vans, and if he didn't have the driver available, we could utilize the van, transport them down to Kicking Horse, get them showers, get them back. And if they have to come do laundry, they could always come down to Quicksilver. But we haven't got the okay to be able to utilize the facilities out at Kicking Horse for showers. And since we have security on staff, security would be the ones taking them down there, waiting with them while they took their showers, then bringing them back.
I can't recall if the old forestry building had a shower in it or not. I think it did.
I did contact Tony and Cashola Jr. and they said, I don't think I think they basically took them out of the building, that they're no longer usable.
That's too bad, because that's just across the street.
Right, and that's also part of the problem with Quicksilver, because there is a shower in there, but it would need some plumbing repair in order to be able to work, because the idea was they could shower, do their laundry there, because there is a laundromat there, but showers are just not viable right now.
We have only enough room up at the Ronan Center for 20 individuals. Right now, the majority of our people that are up there are not CSKT members. When we had it down here at Quicksilver, we had between 20 and 22 people usually. And we have a total of 7 people maximum up there at night up in Ronan now. For some reason, the CSKT members that are down here are not willing to go up to Ronan to the facilities. Corky said he has a bus that drives up there every night at 6 o'clock that could drop them off. We told people and they still won't utilize the system. So we're just not, I think Pablo sounds like the location that this probably needs to be, but we don't have any work here. We do have a building we could use, a house, but it's occupied at the time. And with those guys being in there, we can't. And I said that would be, we could fix the shower to where it's usable in one of the bathrooms and they could utilize that, but we don't even have the facility to do.
Okay, Carol?
But why, we have all these empty houses that housing hasn't been able to rehab because you can't find contractors. So why don't you utilize one of those homes, have them set it aside and utilize one of those just for temporary use until we can get something going. Just have them give you the keys and they can go in and shower. Some have 2 bathrooms, I think. You might be able to utilize that in Pablo. And I also have the same problem in Mission. I have a couple people down there that are, and I say, go to Pablo. No, they would rather just stay in their car or in the campers that they're in. It's sad.
It is sad, but part of it is it's new. It's a learning curve. It's an opportunity. I think the other thing that I've heard from Leroy and Tracy is, individuals know when we're serving food, so they're showing up, they're grabbing their food, and then they're leaving. And we're always going to have some of that happen. You heard them talk about the numbers that are actually staying overnight. They're not large numbers. What were you saying? An average of 7, I think?
Between 3 and 7.
Between 3 and 7 right now. The cold weather's coming. We'll see if that will increase. But our largest numbers were when we were in the smallest place over at Quicksilver. So definitely we know we have a large homeless population right here in Pablo. But transportation to Ronan is available.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Patty and team. Have you talked to Ann Miller at all about utilizing some of the case managers from the reentry program? Possibly have these people sign up for Morningstar and, you know, just kind of, they do the wraparound holistic support. I'm assuming some of these people that are going there would be qualified to go there or to be in the reentry program. So I think that would be something that I'd throw more on Ann, but they do a good job over there, and definitely connecting people with mental health and treatment and, you know, just a lot of different things. I think it'd be a good, it could be a good ally, and Morningstar's right across the street. And I would hate to take away a room there, but you could always, if there's a vacancy there, you could always just have one room at the Morningstar be a kind of a shower room or something like that. I don't want to displace anyone, but maybe if there's a vacancy.
Yeah, well, I'll follow up with Ann when she's back in the office and kind of see what that partnership could look like. I do know that for the residency at Morningstar, it is a defender's client. So the people staying at the homeless shelter wouldn't qualify for Morningstar, but maybe some of the case management services and possibility for shower and laundry.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Patty, just thinking about some of the things that Carol talked about, you know, as a family, as our friends, and sometimes it's real close family that are in this situation, and probably in my case, they don't want to ask for anything or ask for this kind of help, even though it's there. But I think at a point they're going to need it. And one of the things that I really think about in these kind of programs and what you guys are doing is a great thing. But what got these people there? And then just to warm them up and put them back in the same situation is really, really what bothers me. I wish we had a way of getting them there, getting them talking about their issues, and then having a place to go from there into some kind of help, mental health, treatment, whatever it may be. But the addictions, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is so easy to get. And so it takes time for people to get off of that and get a life going and get out of this situation. Look at it right now, they're calling for some super cold weather. And we got people out there that if they don't come there, what are they gonna do? You know, and talking about living in a van, you can freeze to death in a van. You know, it's a sad situation. You know, we can. My hope would be that we can only get bigger with this, so we have room for everybody and get people to take advantage of it rather than freeze to death, because it's a sad situation out there for some people. Thank you for your effort.
We actually had one individual that he was homeless down here in Pablo, and one of the first weekend when it was really cold, we'd opened over at Quicksilver. He had woke up, he was wet, and he was starting to freeze. And he said, "Thank you guys so much for opening this up, because otherwise I would have froze to death last night." So, I mean, it is happening, they know it. The people that are sleeping in their cars have the opportunity, if they could get their vehicles up to the parking lot, they could still go inside and utilize the facility during the nighttime and still be able to go back to their cars if they didn't want to be in there during the day. But we don't even have those guys coming up there.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Have we looked at that blue building right next to the White House? I know that was an old laundromat. I believe it had electricity and plumbing in there, and I thought there was a bathroom. I mean, it would still have some of the same issues, no laundry, no shower, but it at least could be a warm place for people in Pablo. And maybe that would encourage the people in the White House to you know, maybe help them out. Aren't, the guy in the White House is part of this alternative food sovereignty program, and so it would make sense. You could just help them, you know.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Blue House, but we can definitely look into it.
Yes.
I mean, I know where it is, but
and,
yeah.
And like I said, I was looking at using that for, when I was kind of like, a part of the garden stuff and then part of the food processing, having that be a place where people could clean and, you know, do wild game if they're in housing or something. And it just never materialized. I just kind of dropped the ball on that. And so like I said, a year ago, there was, power and everything. And I think there was running water. I mean, I hate to say that if we just left it vacant and just sitting there might be issues, but you know, like I said, if there's electricity there could be power to do heaters and just have a warm place.
Definitely. I'll look into that. Anything else, Tracy or Leroy, that you'd like to add? They have done a
Oh, I
phenomenal
mean
job.
to tell you, thank you, Tracy and Leroy. It's such a tremendous work that you're doing, and the need is great. And I'm sure your customers really appreciate it, and that's the way to look at it. You know, you're providing a service to another fellow human being that's a critical need in the community. So, I want to thank you for that. So, good job. Keep it up.
Thank
We'll
you.
try to support you as best we can. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you,
Mike.
guys. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thinking about the west side, and I've thought about different buildings, and I don't know what Rose does with the old bowling alley, but could that be a facility that would cover a lot of the aspects you're talking about? The old bowling alley had a kitchen in it. It had a big bathrooms. I don't think it had showers, but then the old alley lanes, wide open space. So something like that.
Yeah, another option to look into. That's great. Thank you.
And yeah, I just wanted to extend a thank you to you guys as well. This is, Pablo's a rough place, and, you know, it actually pulled some of the people that were living in the woods behind Two Eagle. That's kind of a problematic area, and they put them somewhere else. But yeah, we gotta appreciate the efforts. And if you need help or whatever, I've been meaning to stop in Ronan. I'll quit saying that. I'll just stop by and say hello at least to encourage your staff. So thank you guys.
The phone number for the center is 275-2795. Or if you're here with the complex, the extension is 2795. And it is posted outside.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Taking a break. All right. We have the get out the vote.
They are requesting executive.
Okay, well, we'll move into executive. Thank you. No, you have all the time that you need.
No, this is actually just a feel-good story update. You guys, for sure, Councilman Betts, will be actually kind of excited to hear about this since you guys have been so involved with this whole thing. So after that, I'm just gonna kick it over to Zainin.
So it's a report to you. We got it all done finally and approved for the courts and the Dixon agency to be done. So the deadline for that is basically June 1st, that it's gotta be done, but they're gonna go in there, the court that is there, what little bit you can remember of it, it's fairly small, and the 3-point line wouldn't even make it halfway around before it hit the edge. So they're gonna reseal that one and refurbish the whole top. So they'll resurface it, and then they're gonna drop the poles to 8 feet. And then they're gonna jump over to the side of it, and so the court runs north and south. They'll go just to the side of it, and they'll run one north and south as well, and that one will be a normal size court, basically normal 3-point line, the whole thing. And that'll be 10 foot. What's cool on that one is one of our big issues when we were first looking at it, we were having issues because there was pre-existing, whether it was power lines or water lines and whatnot. And he said, man, when we dig up the dirt there, we'll just run back the spigot that wasn't even working, and we'll tie it in, and we can put a spigot there, and then the kids can have a spot to water or put a water fountain or something. And that'll be 10 foot. And then the cool part is I don't know what you're talking about. So that's why that door got closed. Then Grizzly Fence was still always on board. They're good with coming in and donating their time and material. I gotta double check how that works, but they're gonna help us fence it.
The donation from Poor Pat for the benches, $5,000 bench, $5,000 to do benches and then put their name on it somehow.
Wow, that's a chunk. That'll be really cool. That's exciting. And so now that we actually have an end date, we can now legitimately let the school work together, whether it be a summer program or something where they can go in and do the artwork on that. But it's actually happening. So it seems like we talk a lot and things just struggle. But honestly, Jay Blue needs a lot of credit. So.
And the next project will be the skate park in Ronan. Okay, get on it.
Okay, we're on it. Copy. But yeah, just make sure everyone just tells Jay Blue thank you too. He was a big part of that. So thank you to him.
And I would just like to follow up on that too, is that you guys were all involved with cleanup. You guys seen what we were doing down there and everything else. And thanks for pushing on this, getting everybody involved. Two Eagle River School students coming down and assisting our crew going down and doing some work on this, and seeing it actually come into fruition and going to that end stage. We just found out about that. Zayden told me about 8:30 this morning that it just came through. So that's why I wanted to come down, and I tried to catch you guys first thing in the morning to start you guys off on a good note. But I think at the end of the day like this, giving you guys this good news too, is a great start of a weekend. Oh yeah, and that's when one thing is that this has been big push. Councilman Charlo, his dad lives down there, and that we've been working on that, trying to do something down there. And Anita's been, and the community themselves stepping up and coming over and helping out and doing some cleanup. So being able to get this going, now the next one, Martin, and now we have to get that path going. That's our next one.
Yeah, and that's something, the opportunities with that funding, I think is gonna be great. And maybe even putting another court, just to the, southwest, where we talked about that big slab that's already existing there, and just having something there would be great. And yeah, maybe I'll get my dad out there on those 8-foot rims and he can dunk around on his new hip. And Jay Blue, thank you for all that you're doing. You are a big part of this as well, even though you're behind the scenes. It's something that we really value you. You're getting up to speed really quickly, and Lands wanted to extend a thank you to you. So thanks a lot and everything you do. Carol?
Yeah, thanks, Jay Blue. I appreciate the hard work. And also I want to tell Jimmy, we still have to do the meat rack. They still want the dry meat rack down there. So that'll come up after we get all this done.
And one thing, this is an open that, we want to make sure that this is just the first of many projects, hopefully, that we're going to do for different communities. We started Dixon a lot because of the push from Anita and Carol and myself, just because that place used to be one of the highlights of our reservation, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And so just pushing for Pablo, Pablo needs a basketball court like no other. Ronan kind of has the school there, but a court that's not slanted is always nice to have. And so it's something that, Pablo, if we can ever figure out the land issue here with this section right by the school, that'd be a perfect place to do a playground park, basketball court. And then just on a completely side note, there's a trailer down, like a RV down in the agency, 2 lots down from where, yeah, is that squatter or?
Yeah, we're just getting on that. Yeah, it's
Wanna
kind of
make
a
sure you're
weird
aware.
situation, so, I think legal might have to get, or, yeah, that one's a bad one, I think. We're looking into it though.
Anything, Jimmy?
Yeah, Siemens, skate park in Harley too would be awesome.
I know, there's something, the Arlie one, especially Kendra has been super passionate about that and going off the end of the powwow courts right there. You got that whole area where we could take the courts that we have and then put the mini court for the little guys and then just keep that going all the way to the rodeo ground fence line right there. And just one big thing of concrete with, you got your skate park, you got your basketball courts. The lights look amazing. I don't know if you guys have really been paying attention how they got those new LED lights in, or the bright ones. We just need a little bit more there, and the skate park would be huge.
Can I
So-
tell you that Greg's Bar should have all the documentation from the lady that we met from in Oregon that does the skate park in Montana? Go up and talk to him about it. We can get stuff going. No, but we need to have Greg because he's the money man. He also put the money aside, I think $100,000 for each community, which that won't be enough, but this group that we met with has money that they bring in also from, what's that band, Pearl Jam, Montana provides some funding.
And I appreciate Terry naming the building down there for Anita, but, Mr. Sonny Morjo, I think should have something named for him down in the agency, just dude does a lot
The
of job.
courts.
So, yeah, thank you guys.
One other thing, I just wanted to do a follow-up. Councilman Pitts, myself, Zanin, and AJ Bigby, and Jace Smith from BIA Hydrology, Roads Engineering, that's working with water compact stuff. We're down last week at a national conference for the IAC, the Intertribal Ag Council. We will be meeting on Monday to all kind of collaborate together on what we talked about, what we learned, because we all went to different sessions and all of this, and then we're going to come back and give a full update to council and show you the pictures of the girls when they did their procession and walked in, and we're hoping to have the 2 girls that went down, Kayleen and I just forgot my employee's daughter's name.
Miss Bigby.
Miss Bigby. That's still bad because I can't remember. I still just lost it. But yeah, we're gonna have them all come in.
And yeah, whoever thought to bring the picture of Anita down there and that really,
Randy.
yeah, that really, still is a tough one, and just seeing that just via social media was really, really touching, and, it just, her impact will last for a long time, so thank you guys for that.
Yes, and that I want to reach out to, just for that one, is that we reached out to the family and they said, yes, that'd be great because she was so involved with the IAC. She was a state representative for us from the tribes. She was a national person too. She was on there. But Brenda Ritchie said it was really great this year to have a bigger showing from CSKT because it was always just her and Anita. And it was very hard for a lot of the people down there because Anita was the staple that they always saw down there. Ross Racine was another one from Blackfeet that's always at them. And so this was a big one. So when they seen that, there was a lot of appreciation that we did that. And it was a very touching moment when AJ was able to get that good picture of her, of Brandy and Kayleen with the flag and Anita's picture coming in, and it sat up there during their first day, during their introductions and everything, when they were doing the whole banquet, and that picture was there, so everybody did recognize it and see it. So that was very moving for a lot of people to see that. And we just want to continue this. And I've reached out to other programs and stuff, because there was a lot more stuff there than just ag. There was food sovereignty, there was forestry stuff, there was NRD stuff. So we want to try to get a bigger showing down there because there's a lot of good information and a lot of good grants out there for us. There is talk about depredation and everything there too. So meat processing, everything. So everything that we've been talking about over the last couple of years is down at that meeting, and with a lot of grant and with a lot of support for tribal entities, individuals and tribes, with free consultations and everything. So it's very impressive.
That was one of the discussions we actually had this morning that Councilman Pitts brought up, was on the ranchers having elk affecting their crops, and then also the haystacks, and possibly trying to fence those off to kind of eliminate those things. We can do what we can with you know, kind of eliminating more of the actual herds, but I think it's still gonna be a problem even if we have smaller herds. So if there's anything like that, bring that up into us and we will jump right on that. Thank you.
Definitely, and thank you guys. And with that, that's all we had. Cool. You guys have a good day. Thanks for allowing us to come in at the end of the session.
Always for good news. Well, is there any other issues we have today? Well, with that, we'll adjourn for the day. All right.